Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I wanted to talk about another interesting fetish. This one shows up with the emotional psychology that I've kind of been obsessed with deep diving into lately. So I want you today to think about praise kink. Because for a lot of people with this kink, the fact that they know they're desired resonates with them that they're safe and valuable. This can sound like the simplest words of affirmation. You're doing a good job, you're great, I want you, etc. This is going to activate that autonomic nervous system, a feeling of belonging, approval, and acceptance. When one mixes this in with sex, even with any doubt in your mind pushing you towards this kink, it can briefly reinforce certainty, admiration, and emotional validation. Because if someone is uncertain about their worth, even if in the slightest, inside the bedroom becomes the clearest way to prove it. So it's no surprise that this certain fetish will especially show up after heartbreak, when the feelings of not enoughness are triggered, even shame about needing love. This can actually be helpful temporarily, because when you hear someone repeatedly giving you words of affirmation, it cancels out that negative voice saying that you weren't good enough for your partner. So the praise becomes a corrective emotional experience. Then we have the entire nervous system component. For any guy who may have performance anxiety, it's also going to create a somewhat of a instant emotional connection, because so many often perform sexually while their nervous system is a wreck. So if you're hearing, I love that, keep going, etc., even if it's scripted, to the body, this experience feels good and safe. Here's where it gets interesting. If you received conditional approval growing up, or had high expectations on you when you were a kid, or if you even rarely heard emotional affirmation, this is really gonna hit for you, because you're probably gonna equate being good with being loved. So when praise is heard during intimacy, it activates that deep reward system. My job as a YouTuber is to remind you what's more on the healthy side of things, and what's maybe a little less healthy and could use a little love. The idea here is that you want to make sure it's just something that you really like or respond to well when you're, having some fun. But when you need praise kink to feel worthy, you need constant reassurance, or you might even be tying your sexual performance to your self-worth. This is something that might be challenging to be deeply honest with yourself about, but I feel called to give you that little gentle reminder. Praise kink doesn't always mean insecurity. For example, it can amplify domination and submission roles, acting as simple reward conditioning. Here's the most interesting part of it all. Many of these guys who have this kink are going to be the top CEOs, the lawyers, and everything. So it's no wonder they might want a little praise kink every now and then to know that they themselves are doing a good job. It switches from what they can produce to personal admiration. And guys actually don't get a lot of that. Just think about it that way. When a guy is in an environment that is constantly measured by profits, it looks and feels nothing like someone giving a personal compliment. Like, you're good because you're you. They just get good job on the numbers. I can see how that might have some weight to it, because ironically, often the top performers have the loudest internal critics. Praise immediately turns off this mental audit, where someone that's high strung might be the only time that they can relax. There's so many layers to this. Think about it. Most men don't grow up with that constant verbal affirmation of desirability. Women hear they're sexy all the time. So especially for guys who are more successful, they're probably always wondering, does she want me? Does she actually want me? Or just what I can provide? Because it actually even goes even deeper, where men haven't even been taught to receive true emotional appreciation. They've only been taught to actually accept and receive validation through achievement. So it's no wonder that sexuality can often be a place that it's the only spot they feel admired for being themselves, not just respected for what they can produce. So if this sounds like you or something that you might want to try, you can try expressing to your partner, I respond strongly to praise during intimacy. And most partners will be happy to give that. This way, it can become a shared sort of love language instead of something you hold with shame and secrecy. And the healthiest mindset shift, thinking of praise as something that might excite you, but doesn't determine your worth. Knowing that you can enjoy this sort of play and not feel emotionally empty. Because sometimes what genuinely might look like kink is just another human wanting approval.